If sitting is the one thing that consistently triggers your back pain, whether you're at your desk or in meetings or driving in the car, then you're dealing with a very specific pattern of back pain. And it's the one that I see consistently with individuals who sit all day for work. The good news is it's very fixable, but it's not with more random stretches or more random exercises. It's by following the right system. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Elijah, and I've been helping people reduce their back pain for the past 8 years. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through the exact 4-part system that my clients use every day to reduce their back pain from sitting all day. Most people with this kind of back pain pattern, they notice a lot of the same things. So walking and standing are fine, but once they sit down at their desk and the longer they sit down, they find that their back pain becomes aggravated and it doesn't get any better. So then they try to stretch it out. And yes, the stretching will give some temporary relief for a couple of minutes or maybe a couple hours. The back pain just comes back. And I do want to make one thing clear. The pain did not come back because stretching doesn't work. The pain came back because stretching alone isn't the solution. The biggest mistake that I see after helping thousands of people reduce their low back pain is that they blindly follow random routines they found on YouTube or random stretching or exercise routines with the hopes that the routine that they follow is going to be the magic fix. But in most cases, it's not. And again, it's not because the routines don't work, it's because they're just following a system that isn't specific for them. When someone comes to me with lower back pain, I don't randomly throw exercises or stretches at them. We really need to understand the specific situation of the client. So we always start off with an assessment. In that assessment, we talk about how long they've been feeling their back pain for. And we also talk about what aggravates their back pain, what makes their back pain feel better. And we also talk about if they tried anything in the past and how come it didn't work. We also go over a bit of a movement screen, and this will help me understand where they're at with their ranges of motion, and it also helps me see any restrictions that may be occurring. From there, I'll create a plan for them, and it's not just a generic plan, it's actually a custom system that's built based around what we found during the assessment and the movement screen. And we also, it's also catered to their lifestyle as well, because one thing that a lot of people have trouble with is adherence and sticking to a certain routine. So the custom system that I give my clients, it's meant to be integrated into their daily life and not take away from their daily life because they're busy, they have other things going on, and the last thing they want to do is spend 30 minutes to 1 hour just doing mobility and strengthening drills. And the system that I give my clients, I actually call it the structural freedom system. And basically what that is, it's simply a 4-pillar system that's meant to reduce low back pain. So let's go into the computer and we'll go over the 4 pillars. So first pillar we're going to talk about in the structural freedom system is what I like to call regulate. And what I mean by that is we want to down-regulate the nervous system and basically just tell the body nervous system to calm down, especially after a long day of work. If you're stressed, if you're tired, the body can be in that fight or flight mode. And what happens is when you're sitting down for long periods of time, just like this diagram shows, um, your body can basically become stuck in this position because the more you sit in this position, your body will think it's normal. And by being in this position, the discs in your spine become a bit compressed, actually, and the muscles in the back as well. They have to they have to work harder to prevent that forward posture from collapsing forward. So what you can do, an example of this, especially if you have back pain when you're sitting, is by doing a 90-90 supine decompression drill. And all you really need to do is just lay flat on your back and put your ankles on a bed or a couch and put something in between your legs, right close into the groin. And all you got to do is take big breaths into your stomach and big breaths out. And the goal of this movement is to, one, it decompresses the lower back and the spine, and two, it actually takes pressure off the back muscles that are always working throughout the day to prevent you from falling forward due to your poor posture. So with this 90-90 exercise, you can do this for 5 minutes if you want to. If you feel like it's too much pain or discomfort, you can do it for 2 minutes. It's really up to you, but the goal of this pillar is to just get the body to relax and to tell the body that it's okay to move, which we're going to be doing in the next pillar. So pillar 2 is all about lengthening or stretching out muscles that may be shortened in when you're sitting for prolonged periods of time. And I do want to make one thing clear. Just because a muscle is shortened, it doesn't mean that it's automatically tight. You could have a short muscle, but a weak muscle at the same time. So an example of this is the psoas or the hip flexor. So the picture on the left side here. When you're sitting for prolonged periods of time, the hip flexors are going to be in a constant state of shortening, not contraction, but shortening. And when that happens, the body is going to adapt, basically. And that's why sometimes when you get up out of your chair, your back may feel a little stiff as well. And on the right side here, these are the glutes and the hamstrings. A lot of people who have back pain when they're sitting down find that their hamstrings are always tight and that their hips or glutes are always tight as well. And they constantly try to stretch it, and it doesn't give the long-term results that they need. And it's not that the stretching doesn't work for the glutes and the hamstrings, it's that they are being eccentrically contracted. And what I mean by eccentric contraction is they are at a constant state of lengthening, like they're basically stretched out, and when that happens too, that's going to cause the muscles to feel very tight and very stiff as well. So an example for the psoas muscle is the half kneeling hip flexor stretch. Basically, you go onto one knee with the opposite leg put in front of you, and you're basically just gonna push your hips forward until you feel a stretch in that in the leg that's planted into the ground, the leg that has the knee planted in the ground. And then a stretch that you can do for the hamstring and glutes is a seated hamstring sweep. So you can do this while you're at work in the office to break up the time. So all you need to do is sit at the edge of your seat, lengthen out one leg, and you just try to touch your heels or touch your toes. And a key point with this stretch is to not flex the lower back, because if you have trouble flexing your lower back, or like when you bend and it hurts, this may cause some pain. So you do want to be cautious of this, and you don't want to make anything worse, essentially. So again, the goal of pillar 2 is to just lengthen and get some mobility back in the tissues that may be A, shortened, or B, just tight and stiff. So on to pillar 3. So once you've done some mobility and stretching work, we can move on to pillar 3, which is all about activating any muscles that may have become inactive during prolonged periods of time, such as the glutes and the hamstrings. So from this diagram here, again on the left, glutes and the hamstrings, they become eccentrically contracted and they're not firing or working as they should be. And then another part of the body that needs to be activated is actually the core muscles. So your abdominal muscles, your obliques, and also the deep stabilizing muscles in your lower back as well. An example of this on the left here, this is a dead bug. So this exercise is great for core control, and also it's great for helping strengthen the core as well. So this is actually a very back-friendly core exercise that you can do at home. And then an example for strengthening the glutes and the hamstrings is actually the hip hinge or the Romanian deadlift. This has to be hands down my favorite exercise to do for strengthening the hamstrings and the glutes, just because you really feel the stretch when you go down. You really feel the stretch in your hips and your hamstrings. And it also helps to teach your body how to bend properly. Because a lot of people that I see, when they're bending forward to pick something up off the ground or to tie their shoes, they're just flexing from the spine, and when you do that, that's that's a recipe for your back to give out, and it's a recipe for disaster. So by performing this hip hinge and becoming a master of the hip hinge, you'll teach your body how to bend properly so it takes pressure off the lower back, while also strengthening the hips and the hamstrings that become inactive when you sit for long periods of time. So that's pillar 3, which is activate. And now we're going to go into pillar 4. And pillar 4 is all about integrating different daily habits into your lifestyle, because again the one of the biggest factors for um, not fixing back pain that I see all the time is adherence, and people try to set aside 45 to 60 minutes to work on fixing the lower back, when in reality, if you're busy and you have a lot of stuff going on, you don't have 45 to 60 minutes to stretch. So pillar 4, again, integrating these daily habits into your lifestyle. An example of this is actually just walking. So walking is fantastic for lower back pain, because when you're moving around, the discs actually get hydrated, and when you're walking back and forth, that's going to help you a lot with getting circulation going in your body, and also waking up the muscles that may have fallen asleep or become inactive when you're sitting for prolonged periods of time. So I like to tell my clients to set a alarm or a timer to go off on their phone every 30 to 45 minutes. And by doing that, they don't have to think about it. The alarm goes off after 30 minutes, and that's their gentle reminder to be like, oh, I got to get up, move around, do some stretching, do some walking, anything to get the body moving. So yeah, walking is something that I tell all my clients to do. And then other things that you can do are seated mobility drills. So you can do like what I'm doing in the picture here. When I had my mullet, actually, pretty nice mullet. I cut my mullet, but you can do seated rotations. That's going to help a lot with improving rotation in the upper to mid back, which is your thoracic spine. And then you can also do like the hamstring sweeps. You can do side bends, neck stretches. There are a lot of different things that you can do to help break up your day, and a lot of different movements and exercises that you can do for your back pain specifically. But yeah, that's basically it. The 4 pillars of the structural freedom system. Again, pillar 1 is all about down-regulating the nervous system and getting the body to just calm down and relax. Pillar 2 is all about lengthening. So lengthening or stretching any tissues that may have become shortened or tight or stiff during when you sit down for long periods of time. And pillar 3 is all about activating or turning on the muscles that have become inactive due to prolonged sitting. And then pillar 4 is all about integrating daily habits that you can fit into your lifestyle that will help you fast track the path to fixing your lower back. And if you're someone who's dealing with stubborn low back pain and you feel stuck after trying random stretches and exercises, you can click the link in the description to have the structural freedom system applied to your specific situation.